I ask unanimous consent to speak out of order for 1 minute for the purpose of remembering the tragedy at Columbine High School 10 years ago this week.
Without objection, so ordered. The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Gentlemen, suspend. The House is not in order. Members, please take your conversation to the cloakroom. Members, please be seated. Gentlemen, suspend.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Gentlemen, suspend.
Colleagues, I know...
Gentlemen, suspend for a moment, please.
Mr. Chairman.
Members, please take your conversations to the cloakroom. Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I know that the whole House joins the Colorado delegation in their sorrow at the tragic events of 1999. The nation was horrified. This was an event that changed the nation and still casts a shadow on our culture. The community around Columbine still deals with this event, and I believe it is appropriate for us to pause and reflect on what happened that terrible day. I would now yield to my colleague, Ms. DeGette.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Madam Speaker, 10 years ago this week, as I sat in my office in the Longworth office building, I watched the horrific events of the Columbine shooting occur. Sadly, that was not the first time we've had a high school shooting, and even more sadly, it was not the last time we've seen a shooting of this nature. Every time this happens, for those of us in Colorado, the memory of the horrific events in April 10 years ago floods back to us. I'm joined today with the entire Colorado delegation, as Mr. Coffman said, in mourning the loss of the teacher and the students at Columbine. Mr. Perlmutter had constituents who were killed in the shooting. I had constituents attending Columbine High School at that time, and we still do today. All of us share the hope that Principal Frank DeAngelis, who was the principal then and now, shared with the country Monday this week at a ceremony commemorating the 10th anniversary of Columbine. Principal DeAngelis said on Monday, and we all agree with this, "My hope is that school violence comes to an end and that our nation is not mourning the loss of more of our children and educators, and that the members of our society come together to stop the senseless deaths that are occurring. Our children are our future, and we must continue to pave the way for a safe and successful journey." Let's remember Columbine, and let's remember these words, and I yield back.
Gentleman from Colorado. Gentlelady yields back. Gentleman from Colorado.
Madam Chairman, to my colleagues, please join me in a moment of silence for the victims and their families.
Members, please rise for a moment of silence.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. Without